Hey Cowboys, this is Libby Duthman, your principal. This is our first digital staff meeting of the year, and I'm going to kick us off with the nuts and bolts portion. Okay, well, we're doing a digital meeting format, and this is in response to our professional development survey last spring. So 1/3 of our meetings this year are going to be digital. What we'd like you to do is follow along the Google form, answering those questions as you go. And we would like to have everyone complete this by Monday, September 29th. If you have any trouble with it, you can certainly talk to an ed tech, and they would gladly help you out. First tidbit for me is that we are going to fund Turnitin.com. And for those of you who aren't really sure, Turnitin.com is a way to combat plagiarism. It's super expensive, and it's in excess of $11,000. Just to put it in context, 2 years ago we had to pay for it, and it was $7,000. So it's gone up a lot. And we need to do this, and we have a lot of teachers who like to use it. And we will offer training later this semester for those who haven't used it or haven't used it often. So it's a good thing we're going to do this, but please make sure you use it because it's an awesome program. I'd like to talk with you about vaping. This has become a problem, more so than it has been in past years. There's been an uptick in the amount of discipline relating to vaping. And this is both nicotine and marijuana, and both of those ingredients could be in the e-juice. If you look at the picture here, there's some examples of e-pens. And in the center, you'll see these little vials or bottles, and that's the e-juice that contains the nicotine or the THC. So we have a plan to combat vaping at Salinas High School. We're going to do some PBIS Tier 1 Cowboy Way lessons. And we are also subscribing to a program that's free, thankfully. It's called Catch My Breath. It's really terrific. And we will be incorporating the info from that program in our Cowboy Way lessons. And then also we're going to do some things targeting specifically 9th grade. I'm going to share in a moment a draft of a discipline matrix that we're developing specifically for vaping. And we are also working with Community Human Services, that's Mariella Castro, on developing an education component on vaping. So here's that draft I mentioned. And if we look on the left, you'll see it says first, second, and third offense. So let's take a look at the first offense. So when we have a first offense, the student will have a mandatory one-session education component. And that will be with Mariella Castro, and then she will follow up in 2 to 3 weeks. The school consequence, there will not be a suspension that is aligned with the current board policy on drug and nicotine use. We'll have a parent conference. The student will have a meeting with Angelica Simons, our intervention specialist, and as I already mentioned, the Community Human Services referral. On a second offense, there will be education review and then mandatory 5 sessions with Mariella. She again will follow up, and then we will move to suspension, and we'd like to try and do that in-house if possible to keep the students at school so they don't get too far behind. And then third and beyond will be 7 challenges mandatory program, or they could do the DAISY program through Silver Star, plus out-of-school suspension, and that those number of days will increase based on progressive discipline. And again, this is a draft. This is something we're working on. It's our working document. So here's a few things about vaping to watch out for. First of all, remember we looked at this last year for those of you at Salinas High last year. A lot of the vaping pens look like a jump drive. Juul was the particular brand we talked about last year. And so if you see a student that is constantly taking a jump drive in and out of their Chromebook, that would be a particular sign. Also, if they're cupping it in their hand, or bringing their hand up to their mouth, like a closed fist type of thing, that would be another sign. So watch out for that. The smell is not always detectable. And then if you see students with a lot of $1 bills, what we found is that kids are selling hits on a vape pen for $1. So if you see a lot of ones in somebody's possession, alert admin. And then also frequent bathroom visits. If you notice that somebody's going multiple times during your class period, or if they're always going at a certain time, this would be something to alert admin to. So do you want to know more about vaping? Well, watch this video, which we're going to be using in our PBIS lesson. I personally have never used a vape pen, nor do I even know somebody that uses a vape pen. So I found this to be a very informative video. Please don't share this video with students because we are going to be using it in one of our Cowboy Way lessons. So we don't want to spoil that upcoming lesson. But for your information, it's really a great time to watch it. Okay, we're going to change gears. Salinas High School SRP, the staff resource page. I'm calling this the gateway to all knowledge about Salinas High School. Yes, really. So I'm going to follow this link. So that's one way you can get to it is a link on your PowerPoint there. But I'm going to show you another way you can get to it. This is the district website. You go over under staff, you can get to the staff portal. From the staff portal over here on the left-hand side, the Salinas High School staff page. Click on that. That'll bring you to the SRP. And then we have some banner things. This is a really cool drone video that Chuck Felice shot. So take a look at that. And then here's our mission statement. Lots of links embedded in this form. Here's some that we'll be using probably on a regular basis, ASAP. Below that is the calendar. Here's the master calendar and then our weekly schedule. And this is a new feature that we added this year. So Leslie updates that each week. She also emails it to you. Okay, up here we have staff. If you click on any of these categories, like we'll go to administration, we'll have pictures, more details, emails, that sort of thing. If you click on something like this, here are administrative duties. So you can get details about what everybody needs to be working on in the admin team. If you go back up here to staff, you can see we have counseling, custodial, content areas, and paraeducators. We had a suggestion from the department meeting that we put more detail about everybody, like where exactly they work or what area of the paraeducator world that they are part of. So we will do that eventually. And if you go to ILT, you see our instructional coaches are there, but there's also the link to the technology website. Under forms, Leslie updates us on a regular basis. These are the most up-to-date forms. The ones that are PDF fillable, you have to download them to be able to type into them, but they work great. There's a wide variety of things here, forms, plus also things like bell schedule, phone list, that sort of thing. Under Cowboy Way, you can click here and get to our Cowboy Way site. Events includes that calendar. An important meeting date link is here as well. This piece right here is a Google form. So if you have an event you want to have on the master calendar, you just fill this very short thing and then Leslie knows to put it on the calendar. And under professional development, we've got some different things and we'll continue to work on it, but we put our presentations for both classified and certificated workshops. So if you ever, or meetings, I should say, need to revisit that, that's where they are. So that's the SRP. Pretty awesome thing. And Leslie keeps improving. Okay, so that's the end of my portion. Please answer the questions in the Google form and then continue with the rest of the meeting. And just a reminder, we'd like everybody to be done with it by Monday, which is September 29th. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this format.